All right, Oval fans, hope everyone's doing well. Honestly, I wasn't going to do this video for a few more days. I said, you know what, let the mid-season finale marinate for a little while. But at the same time, it's like, you know what, might as well go 10 for 10. I had already recorded 9 Oval videos before this one. The review, the end credit trailer or sneak peek of the next episode airing July 20th. And then a barrage of other videos stemming from the mid-season finale. So I figured one more will make it 10. Here we go. This video is just kind of like my thoughts on season 2 so far. I can't recall if I did one of these for Ruthless, and if I didn't, oh well, I'm probably not going to do one now. But I do feel like this video is going to encompass not just my thoughts on season 2 so far, but probably answering the question of which show do I think is better during season 2 so far. And that is, Ruthless or The Oval. I'm not going to lump Sisters into this category because I think Ruthless and The Oval makes more sense due to the fact that they're part of the same storyline, even though Ruthless is behind in terms of where The Oval is now. So before going forward in the video, please take a moment to hit the like button, hit subscribe, click the bell notification icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And don't expect like episode recaps. I got all that stuff on the channel already. Seriously, a review for every episode. Now it's pretty crazy because if you remember back around July of last year after Jean got raped by Jason, I said I was done with the series. People were like, no, you ain't. You better come back to this show. And here we are half a season later, almost a year later too. But I will say this, The Oval really did kick off to a good start. I thought that, just like almost any other Tyler Perry show, the quality in terms of what I was watching seemed to increase, like the production value, the camera angles. This season really, like if you go back and watch, let's say, well, it is on BET Plus, the entire season 1. Just pick one episode at random. You don't even have to watch the entire thing, but just watch various scenes from, just any certain episode from season 1. Then go back. Well, I don't know how you watch it online because it's not on BET Plus yet, but A Little Girl Talk season 2, episode 1. And I remember when I first saw the episode, I'm like, oh, damn, it's almost like a cinematic experience right here watching this episode. But, I do think some of the high points of this season, I've said this in recent videos actually, season 2 has done a better job of utilizing some of the characters. That's not to say some people haven't been acting out of character, which I'll get to soon enough when I talk about the negatives. But what I think is the best way to sum it up, I don't think there's been a moment where I've been saying, I wonder where this person is. I think the only time that subject has come up has been very recently when some people were like, wow, it's been like, what, 2 episodes without Kareem and shit. See, I almost put their names together without Kareem and Sharon. And I'm like, yeah, you're right about that. But to be honest, it's better that they quote unquote disappear as opposed to being there just taking up space. Because to be completely honest, what exactly were they bringing to the table in recent episodes aside from Sharon being pregnant, her maybe like will she, won't she get back with Kareem, that kind of thing, establishing Dale at the pharmacy, and of course he handed over information about the Rakadouchi to Sam, and then of course he's gotten mixed up with Kyle unintentionally. So there's really no reason for them to be in every single episode. And I've made this comparison last year talking about the show, but it reminds me of like Pokemon, where even though the anime is, well, past its prime, but it's still ongoing, something that they finally learned, which I can't believe they did, was back in like the Black and White series, and then the Sun and Moon series, and even in the current series Journeys, they didn't have to put Team Rocket in every damn episode, and that's really helped some of the stories. And I feel the same way about The Oval. I feel like this season has a better flow to it than last season. And yes, I know we're missing some characters like Paige Hurd, but filming power, book 2 and whatnot, but she is going to be in season 3 based on behind the scenes stuff from a couple months ago. So the Oval season 3, Gale is going to come back, and remember, she's being quote unquote reprogrammed by her goons, the goons or whatever her grandparents sent after her, in order to make sure she gets these little thoughts of emancipation out of her brain. So I'm very curious to see what is she going to be like once she finally gets back to the White House. Now, will she be in any part of the back half of season 2? I don't know. All I know is she's going to be in season 3, and that's really all I got to say about that. On top of that, we got Jason stepping up for a more prominent role. I mean, good Lord. I mean, this boy has lost it. And on top of that, it's kind of interesting where you kind of notice that the characters who have kind of been giving more to work with, they kind of take the place of somebody who's left the White House. Like Max is gone, Yuma's gone. So you see like this new character, Alonzo, and I believe we learned last night his name is Alonzo White. He's kind of climbing up the ranks, so to speak, working with Kyle to do dirty work. Then, of course, we have Priscilla given more of a presence, and this leans more into things I don't like so much. Just the fact that Priscilla, I mean, her getting a nervous breakdown or whatever makes complete sense between losing Jean, hearing about Yuma, just now learning about Laura, and she still doesn't know about Diane yet. I mean, that wound still is open right now. But another thing to think of is the fact that the whole Sam thing, it's just like, it's hard to feel sorry for her. Like, I feel bad for anybody who has a spouse cheating on them. But at the same time, the fact that she doesn't look at what had happened in terms of your man kept coming to you with his needs, but you just kept brushing him off, and you just spent far too much time worried about what other people had to say. It's just the fact that I'm sorry about that. Not what they had to say, but I don't know, there's a garbage truck or something. There's something big in the parking lot. Sorry about it. You hear like, it's like you just spent so much time concerned about everybody else's needs and family or marriage issues, except for what's going on in your own home. So it's like, even though Sam was the one that allowed Victoria to go down on him, and then, we saw what happened, last night and the week before, you played a role in that. Like, you weren't the one that made Sam do it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, we see why Sam did what he did, but at the same time, we're seeing this beast in Priscilla that it's just making her unreasonable. Like from giving the money over from Sam's account to Nancy, and now we know that wasn't Sam's son, so it's not like Sam paid for that damn funeral. Then on top of that, we got Nancy, who, even though we finally learned who the father of Picky was, this was just drawn out for far too long, and her lashing out at everybody. And believe it or not, I think one of the best levels of improvement, in my opinion, was Barry. I mean, like, he still had his hot-headed moments, but for the most part, he's been kind of level-headed because he's been trying to get his parents back together. He had a couple outbursts here and there, like with Sharon at the pharmacy, but thankfully, Nancy showed up before he did something stupid. And it's almost like, it's crazy. Like, the people who were level-headed in season 1 were the ones who became irrational, emotional wrecks in season 2. Bobby, Priscilla, Nancy, Sharon, whereas Barry seemed to have toned down just a little bit compared to season 1. And I have to say, the acting, in my opinion, from him got better. I know some people say, like, he's calling Nancy mommy. I mean, that sounds like Benny from the Haves and Have-Nots. I'll let it slide because I have to applaud the actor. I think Barry's performance has improved a lot since season 1. You can disagree, that's completely fine, but I really think his acting for this particular character has improved. Now, I haven't seen him in other works. I know he's been in a few things, some clips from last year. People were like, hey, isn't that Barry? Isn't that Barry from like this love show? I mean, this was like game show. I don't know, but I haven't like actively looked for him in other acting credits. But I'm pretty sure if I do, I might be like, oh wow, I didn't know he can do this, because that's not uncommon to see somewhat of a lackluster performance from a particular actor in a Tyler Perry project. But then when I see them in another project, boom, it's like, oh, see, there you go. I wish that you were able to show this level of talent when you're acting on a Tyler Perry show. But I mean, you just got to do what the man wants. I figure whatever makes it to the screen is what Tyler wanted. So whether or not I like it, oh well. If it's what Tyler wants, then I can't argue with the people doing their job to get their check. Do you? But I got to give props to Barry, because I think the acting has really improved. Also, speaking of characters out of character, I don't mind Donald. I know a lot of people say they do not like this version of Donald we've been seeing in season 2. I like it. I mean, because we're seeing a little bit more complexity from him. Like, he's not afraid to talk back, especially to Hunter. He's not afraid to show, sensitivity to an extent. I mean, just look at everything him and Lily have gone through since season 1. And at the core, these two have a sick kind of infatuation with each other. I mean, the fact that, oh, he tried to kill me. Oh, he's not completely straight. Oh, I have a lover in our bed and I know what I'm doing. But at the core, these two still care for each other. I mean, interesting dynamic, but at the same time, it makes you wonder, how long is this going to work? Before one of them eventually caves. I mean, I bet even if it was said that, hey, you know what, Kyle? We accept you for who you are. If you want to be in the public as, gay chief of staff, look, just putting it out there in terms of real world, there are so many instances where a particular person of a race, gender, sexuality reaches a position of power and notoriety that it's big time news. Like, for the first time we have the first trans this, or for the first time we have the first black woman that, for the first time we have the first openly gay senator. Just, so I don't know if there has been a gay or bi chief of staff in real world. I don't know, but I figure in the Oval universe, if they did something like that, even if he was able to be open with Kyle, I don't think Donald would do it, because he still cares more about Lily, in my opinion, based off what we've seen. Now, again, I could be wrong, but, and I know some people are saying, well, yeah, hell yeah, Donald in his feelings. It's like, what do you call that thing you had with Kyle? But does that necessarily mean Lily sleeping with Bobby and everything under their roof is right? Even though, Kyle and Donald have done it a few times, but two wrongs don't make it right. But at the same time, it's like, you're glad to see Lily fight back, but at the same time, it's like, this definitely isn't a healthy relationship, him strangling her included, but still. So, also looking at Richard, I'm glad to see him at his job back. I hated the whole Frida thing. It's like, not because I dislike Frida, but the fact that Richard is just, using people for his own, pain and hurt and anger. That was just messed up. But at the same time, at least one of my favorite moments, which I mentioned in my episode review, as well as the video going over, Richard learning about his father, even when he found out what had happened with Nancy, his first concern was, did he rape you? So I like the fact that that was mentioned, as opposed to him just flying off the handle, because it's funny how Nancy and Barry, it's almost as if Barry takes more after Nancy in regards to his irrationality and hot-headedness. But at the same time, you got Richard, who's slow to anger, which is very true of a good not just a good man, but a good person in general. They're slow to anger, but if you piss them off, they will make life a living hell for you. So there's that aspect of it. Hunter in the cabinet meeting, very good scene, because he actually did something. But even before that, I believe there was one scene earlier this season where he's literally in the Oval reading over file paperwork. And I'm like, damn, okay. Victoria, I think because Gail hasn't been around to antagonize her, I think we're seeing more range from her character because of, Jason shaking her up, killing her mother, and trying to strangle her like 2 or 3 times. So there's that aspect of it. The Ellie thing, obviously Monica Lewinsky, but at the same time, it's like, how far can this character really go, especially after the whole underwear thing? And Hunter's seemingly done with her because he's probably trying to get with Jason's psychiatrist, but we need to see more of that play out before I can really make heads or tails of the situation. Let's see, what else is there to really talk about? Like I said, this isn't like a season 2 overview. It's kind of like just me talking about some of the highs, some of the lows. Yeah, I don't like the fact that so many good characters are being killed off left and right. Maud, Diane, just to name a couple. I do love the Oval crossover. The Ruthless crossover moments like Daikon, more Ruth, as well as other Raku compound members, and of course Dale showing up. Yeah, and it looks like just the story is getting deeper and deeper. So as the time goes on, you really can't trust anybody. But overall, yeah, I think that I would say I've been enjoying the Oval more than Ruthless. That's not to say I don't enjoy watching Ruthless season 2, but I do feel like that show has taken a slight dip in the enjoyment factor because of the repetitiveness ever since the back half of season 1, when they introduced like a bunch of new characters. And each episode is pretty much cookie cutter, like Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? You know how that show starts, like, Scoob and the gang are going to some sort of like, teenage event, school function or whatnot, carnival. And then they end up, caught in the middle of some mystery, like, oh, the mystery machine needs gas, or, hey, there's something spooky going on at the circus. And then they pretty much encounter the monster of the day, and then through a set of encounters and setting up a trap, they find out who it is. It's formulaic, but it's classic. Now with Ruthless, it's basically the same old thing every time. So-and-so's talking to this person to see if they can be trusted. So-and-so's talking with that person to recap the events of the previous episodes. So-and-so's trying to escape. The highest is talking about killing everybody off. Ooh, is he going to have sex with Ruth? Ooh, can Ruth be trusted? Is Ruth trying to get with Daikon in order to get the keys? Andrew, yada, 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 Tally, and then River. It's just the same thing every episode. So when something out of the ordinary happens in the Ruthless, it's actually a big deal. But look at how much we got to sit through in order to get to that moment. But with the Oval, even though it hasn't been perfect, especially episode 12, that's, in my opinion, one of the worst episodes of the season so far, misunderstood, because of how freaking out of character a bunch of these people were acting. But other than that, it's been a joy to sit through. So that's not to say the back half won't make it worse, or if Ruthless can get very, 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 very good during the back half of season 2, but we shall see. I think it isn't just the fact that Ruthless is behind the Oval right now. I just think that the repetitiveness isn't that good. If nothing else, seeing more Ruthless interactions on the Oval makes me wish Ruthless would pick up the pace so we can actually get to the good stuff. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Of course, another disappointing part is discovering that Victoria's father might not appear in the series at all, sadly. We don't know for sure, but he hasn't shown up. Maud's funeral just got steamrolled to her being cremated and having a memorial somewhere. And we learned that Victoria's father is old and sick. So something tells me we're never going to see him on screen. Hopefully I'm wrong, but it just isn't very likely. So let me know your thoughts on the season so far. Way better than Sisters. Even though, yes, Sisters season 2 was fun to watch. But at the same time, when you look at it from a story perspective, it just seems like we reset all the way back during the finale of season 2. Like any kind of progression just got nipped in the bud and we're back to square one. Just like Pikachu at the beginning of almost any series of Pokemon. Oh, he's fighting legendaries during the Pokemon League, but then at the beginning of the next season, he's reset to level 5. So I think that in the long run, even I know this is a bit premature right now, I do think that by the time we get to the Oval season 2, I will probably be more satisfied with where that season cuts off as opposed to where Sisters was when season 2 of that show cut off. That's not to say season 3 can't turn it around, but I just feel like that particular show took a lot of wrong turns, even though it was a fun ride to get to the ending and then get disappointed. Whereas the Oval, I've just been seeing some various things that have improved upon season 1. pacing, character utilization, acting from certain characters, just to name a few things. So thanks so much for tuning into this video. And as always, if you would like to donate to the channel, it's not mandatory, but appreciate it. Feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you later.